Greetings, dear one. Here's a challenge. Liberate yourself from bondage. Bondage. And a bond is like a money you put up for somebody. It could be a slavery term to eliminate your bondage. But how to really free the bondage, you have to know what's the bondage is. What is binding you? What is holding you? And it's the mind. In the Srimad Bhagavatam that I like to read in Canto 3, chapter 23, verse 15, it was stating that how the mind is the cause of bondage. And you realize that because anything you can conceive of in the mind is already a lie. You have to understand this, because just like when you have a mystical experience, you can't explain it with words, because the words are always lying, because they can't tell the truth about something that not even something, that which is beyond words. Now, words are sounds, and that's in the material realm. It's measurable, and by material standards, by machines and that sort of thing. In the divine, that's not measurable. And see, so often what we do, we've been taught and trained to believe the mind, to play, because we're playing with the mind, and to believe those thoughts, to act on them, to generate emotions from them, to live in that mental reality that's being generated by whatever is being fed into this mental system. And it's like a mainframe, because we all have the same mind. That's how I know how your mind operates, because my mind operates, and they're not really ours. They're like a mind that we have accepted, or a lot of it begins with language. And language is to languish in the language. And when you begin to understand the language and what that's saying, that helps you to understand, to realize the cause of the bondage. If you don't get to the cause of where it's coming from at some level, how can you let it go if you don't know what's doing that? Like if you've got something that hurts in your shoe and it's a rock, you might want to take it out. Now you can go get all kinds of medicines. You can heal the mind because the rock is hurting, and you can, get drugged out of it. You could take infection and get rid of infection. You can do all this. Why don't you take your shoe off and take the rock out? And there's a cause, in a sense, because cause and effect are also the same, but within the cause is the effect, and within the effect is the cause. So in the future is the past, and the past is in the future. This is how this duality operates on the finite, within the finite, called infinity. So when you are who you are, you're no longer bound by anything that is in the mind. And that's beliefs, concepts. And what happens is that when we identify with the memories, and we identify with the mind, and we identify as the ID, and an identification is an ID, and what is your ID? We have this false fake ID, which is the number one addiction is to the mind. And as a toy, and to be entertained with the mind, because it feels like boredom to be with yourself. And so this is a constant need for this stimulation. And that's why some people, they can't go to sleep at night. And it's the mind is also not your friend, so it's always wanting to let you know what a loser you are, and to cover that you have to continuously get how superior you are to everybody, and it generates this whole individual inner duel. So the key is to know the cause of it, and then the solution is a repetitive practice and experience of being you beyond a mind, you see.